The story begins when we see a girl named Melanie who is trying to escape from a tunnel that is underground. Suddenly, a scary person appears carrying an axe. Melanie screams desperately, "I can't die again! I can't go through this one more time!" But even so, she ends up being killed violently. 1 year later, we meet 5 young friends who are walking along a country road. One of these people is Clover, who is Melanie's younger sister. The entire group decided to go out to look for her in the place where someone last saw her. When they arrive at the gas station where Melanie made her last recording for her sister, talking about how much she missed their mother who had died, and about her desire to leave home to be able to heal from this sadness, Megan, who has a special gift, asks everyone to hold hands to try to feel the energy that Melanie left in that place. Just when they are almost getting something real, the sound of a truck horn ends up disrupting everything. Clover goes to the store and Max wants to go with her, but Nina tells him to leave her alone because Clover and Max used to date but broke up. Clover shows the photograph of her sister to the man who works in the store to see if he recognizes her. The guy tells them that she disappeared and explains that Clover is not the first person who shows up there looking for someone. He says that whoever risks going deeper into the area, in a place called Glore Valley, never comes back, and that's where many people get into trouble. Outside, Abe, who is dating Nina, questions the group, saying that he believed this trip was to retrace the path that Melanie had taken, but actually Clover really wants them to help look for her missing sister. He warns that these things always end badly for everyone. After a while, Clover comes back saying she discovered the place where Melanie disappeared. The group then goes through heavy rain to some dark and haunted woods. They had been walking in circles since then, and Nina thinks they should go back, but Abe doesn't want to. While they continue arguing, suddenly they find themselves in a place with good weather in the middle of black clouds, with an old house in a corner. Hey, what would you do if you were trapped in a cursed place where every time you died, you came back to life to relive the same nightmare? The movie I'm going to summarize is called Until Dawn. It's a very good movie that combines horror and drama. It's one of the best horror movies released this year. That's why I invite you to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and leave a like to receive the best recaps. After looking around for a while, the group decides to investigate the building. Clover stays behind, looking at the surroundings, impressed with this strange separation between the bad weather on one side and the dry weather on the other. Max waits for her. In the meantime, Abe, Nina, and Megan begin to explore the house where they find old things from the 1990s, like an hourglass stuck to the wall. Looking at a table, Nina finds a guest book and writes her name in it. When she starts turning the pages, she finds names of various people written, including Melanie's name. She is amazed seeing this, which proves that Melanie was really there. Looking more carefully, she notices that Melanie's writing was normal until the last words, which begin to turn into scribbles at the end. Abe takes out his phone to start filming. When he enters another room, he finds a board attached to the wall with photographs of people who disappeared over the years, including a poster of Melanie. Outside the house, Clover sees a person who looks exactly like her missing sister Melanie and runs into the storm, chasing after her. When night begins to fall, Max manages to find Clover and brings her back. When the group finally gets together again, they try to understand the strange things they are seeing. Nina notices that the hourglass is turned upside down and is starting to count time. A banging sound comes from outside. When they go to see, they get scared when they discover that the car is no longer in the place where they left it and has been moved to the side of the storm. Afraid that this might be dangerous, they run back inside. Since the phone signal doesn't work, Clover suggests looking for a way to communicate with the outside world. Nina and Abe decide to stay at the window to watch the person who is messing with their car, while Max, Clover, and Megan find a basement. Since the building's lights don't work properly, Megan uses her phone as a flashlight. Clover finds a house phone and tries to use it, but it doesn't work. Megan finds a very old radio and starts to see if it works, but only hears strange noises and static. Going back to Nina and Abe, they hear a knock in one of the rooms, and Abe decides to go see. Several minutes have passed and Abe still hasn't returned, so Nina decides to go look for him. Seeing that the room is dark, Nina decides to turn on the light. To her horror, a horrible figure had cut her boyfriend in half. Her scream is heard by the other group, so Max decides to find out what the problem is. Getting there, he is terrified to find the figure and Nina's dead body, so he runs back to warn the others to hide. While they hide, the figure passes behind them. Max sees a chance to attack, so he grabs a chair, approaches from behind and hits it, but doesn't cause any injury. The guy gathers the pieces to stab it, but the mysterious person grabs the piece of wood and puts it directly in his eye. The moment he falls lifeless, the creature discovers Megan protecting herself inside a wardrobe and pulls her out, starting to bang her head on the floor several times. Clover leaves her safe place and stabs the masked person using a knife, but this doesn't cause any damage. She runs away from the building, going towards the trees, where she sees another creature that looks exactly like her sister. This confusion allows the other creature to have the opportunity to easily pierce her from behind, and she dies instantly. Time runs out, and the object that marks the hours is returning to the beginning, and everyone starts to return to the moment that started the events that just happened. With everyone still bearing the marks from the places where they died or got hurt, they manage to remember what happened to them. In the room with the board of missing people, the images of the group now appeared as a new poster of those who recently disappeared. Megan's special abilities begin to work, so she tells the group that she can sense the force of dark energy becoming more powerful. Abe thinks it's better to find a way to get out of the building and abandon this haunted place. But Nina doesn't accept the idea of leaving the house because the masked creature might be outside. She makes them remember that everyone was killed just 10 minutes before and that their names already appeared twice in the book where people sign, just like Melanie's, showing that the night is just in a repeating cycle. The lights begin to flicker, and a loud sound of a door closing can be heard. When the group looks, there's no one there, but the door continues opening and closing without anyone touching it. Abe holds the door to keep it closed, and Max uses something to lock the part that serves to open it. A few seconds later, Melanie's voice can be heard asking for help from outside the building. Clover hears this and desperately wants to rescue her sister, but the group makes her remember that this could be a trap. Not listening to the pleas to stay, she goes out and doesn't find her sister. Not only that, a strange building is now on the other side of them. Suddenly, a powerful energy pulls Clover towards the house on the other side, while pushing the others towards the current building and closes the door in front of them. Max wants to go rescue his ex-girlfriend, but Abe holds him back, telling him to think carefully. Going out would have the same result as Clover. He asks Max if he's just trying to get close to Clover to see if he can get back together with her. This makes Max and Nina angry, and she gets upset with her boyfriend for saying such a thing. Clover wakes up inside the dark house to find some strange-looking masks, and in the corner an elderly lady breathing with the help of an oxygen machine, listening to a news broadcast about a tragedy that happened in that town. Clover tries to leave the house, but the door seems to be locked. The elderly lady approaches her, and Clover asks to be released. The elderly lady says that the only way to get out is to spend the night alive or become part of that place. She then grabs Clover to suffocate her with her mask, possessing Clover while the elderly lady slowly begins to dissolve. Abe and Nina reach the vehicle, ready to abandon the town, only for the path to be blocked by a huge creature. With no option, Abe makes the car go backwards. As soon as they try to leave the vehicle, the door seems to be locked with no way to open it, and the masked creature appears in front of them to finish off both of them. Max arrives inside the scary house where he finds various types of toys with a chair moving by itself. After making sure it's just the air moving it, he turns around only to be cut by Clover, who is now wearing a mask. When she leaves, she is hit by the masked man using Abe's car. Time restarts once more and everyone returns to the important moment where everything began. Realizing the mistake they made that caused their previous deaths, the group closes all the doors and protects themselves inside one of the bathrooms. Feeling thirsty, Abe takes a cup and puts tap water in it, asking if anyone would like to drink. Everyone raises their hands. Clover tells what the elderly lady said before her previous death, saying that they need to spend the night alive. Max suggests that maybe all they have to do is simply not die until the sun rises, and if they can't, they might be trapped there forever as part of the night terrors. Abe starts coughing until his insides come out while the group tries to make plans about how to spend the night alive. He tries to hide the blood in the curtains, but things get terrible when he starts coughing non-stop until he explodes with his insides falling into Nina's mouth. She tries to clean herself, but Megan stops her, showing that it's the water that caused this. At that moment, Nina also explodes. Realizing right away that everyone drank the water and would have the same end, the group runs from the bathroom to the living room. Megan starts coughing like the others and has the same result. Clover begs Max that she doesn't want to go through the same thing as the others and asks him to squeeze her neck to death so they can come back and create a plan. Since the book shows many people with signatures that repeat, it means they returned. Max can't force himself to do such a thing and explodes right in front of Clover. Dr. Hill appears in the room. He was the guy who worked in the store before. He tells Clover that she almost managed to escape and that you can't stay alive without moving. Then her head explodes right away. When everyone dies and time runs out, everything starts over from zero. Megan notices that an extra tooth is growing in her mouth. Clover shows that waiting for the hourglass to end doesn't solve anything, so they start searching the place to find something that might help with their plan. Clover finds several papers from the store owner who is called Dr. Alan Hill and who used to work as the main psychiatrist of this town. Abe finds a newspaper talking about a mining accident that happened in Glore Valley 20 years ago. According to the report, the accident happened because the miners dug too deep into the earth, killing more than 1,100 people. The psychologist, Dr. Hill, came to help the people of the town who survived to deal with what happened. Realizing that the town was buried during the accident, Nina sees a door and thinks it might be a way to get out. But when she opens it, she sees a corridor that looks very sinister, so they decide to look for another way to escape. Megan believes that whoever is causing all this wants to make them afraid. Max finds a videotape, and when he plays it, they can see a man inside what appears to be a laboratory, asking to be released. The doctor who is supervising the experiment explains that the patient is showing signs of hunger and loss of muscle mass, but most importantly, intense fear and feelings of anguish, hopelessness, and complete despair. The doctor adds that the trauma from the mining accident still continues, affecting both those who survived and those who visit the place. The longer they stay trapped, the more desperate they become, transforming into monsters called Wendigos. The room's radio starts working now and Hill says there is an exit, but they need to pay a price. One of them has to die for the rest to be able to escape from Glore Valley. Clover refuses to sacrifice any of her friends. Determined to find another way, she finds a map of the town and shows where the doctor must be hiding. Clover tells Hill that she wants to meet him personally, and he agrees, but only Clover can go alone. Abe thinks it's a good idea since they only have 4 nights left. All the other signatures in the notebook didn't go past 13 signatures, so they need to try. Clover agrees to meet Hill, who reveals that he is in the forest with her sister. Hearing this, Clover becomes even more determined to find the doctor. The others try to stop her from leaving, except Abe. Abe shows that they can't keep dying several times, and if meeting the doctor ended the cycle, so be it. Besides, Clover tried to end herself twice this year. While they talk, Nina stabs Abe with a sharp tool as punishment for convincing Clover to go after her sister in the forest. She sends Megan and Max to look for Clover while she stays with her boyfriend. Clover is walking inside the forest when she falls into a trap. She tries to free herself only to be pulled into the dark shadow in front of her. Meanwhile, Megan and Max are already inside the forest with a flashlight looking for Clover when slime falls on Megan's shirt. Looking up, they are terrified to find a Wendigo, so they start running towards the house. Unfortunately, Megan trips and falls on glass. Underneath, there is a buried house. With each movement, the glass continues breaking. Max holds her hands to pull her up, but the Wendigo jumps on Megan, both falling into the underground building. While the creature drags Megan's body into the shadow, Max manages to find Clover still alive, but trapped. Melanie appears from the shadows as a Wendigo. Before she can attack them, Max quickly removes the trap from Clover's foot to use on Melanie's face. This gives them enough time to run deeper into the forest to hide. Clover begs Max to kill her this time, promising that they will come back to fix things better. Max reluctantly agrees and cuts her. Now alone, Max drinks a few drops of water and explodes in front of Melanie. As soon as Clover wakes up to another cycle, Abe is starting to feel something on his back, and when he shows the others, it looks like he's transforming. To calm him down, they tell him he's fine. Clover asks how long that they've been there, and Max imagines it might be 4 nights, but Nina confirms it's 13 nights. She tells them to check the guest book, and because no one ever passed 13 nights, the group needs to try to survive this night if they want to leave the town alive. When Clover opens the window, they see completely dark houses that weren't there before, noticing that they don't remember what happened last time, and the time after that, Megan seems to be missing, and no one remembers anything except Abe, who remembers he was recording with his cell phone since then. He shows some of the videos to the group. A sharp nail appears moving across Clover's face, and the moment she turns to see, her face had turned into that of a horrible creature. Several other recordings reveal how each person in the group ended up dying. The last recording shows Megan, who decided to go after Dr. Hill to try to discover what he was hiding and maybe find a way to escape that cursed place. A siren sound starts playing outside, and when they look through the window, they can see some Wendigos walking towards the building where they were. The group decides to get some weapons and go look for Megan, but this means they will have to go through that passage they were afraid to enter before. It turns out that this passage is actually a tunnel that goes directly to the town that was buried and that the group had mentioned before. The group arrives at one of the buildings and sees a Wendigo messing with some body parts. To not attract the attention of these creatures, the group has to stay completely still and wait for it to go away. Unfortunately, one of them ends up finding the group, so Clover stabs its leg with a very sharp tool, and now everyone can run to a safe place. Inside the room, the masked figure breaks the ceiling, and the creature tries to attack Clover. Max tells her to go after Megan while he holds the creature. Max goes after the creature, and the three work together to bring it down, ending with a giant hammer blow right to the head. On the other side, Clover is attacked by Melanie, but she finally understood reality and pushes her onto an iron bar that was on the ground, killing her instantly. Clover finds Megan trapped in a laboratory with a Wendigo chained on the other side of her. Clover goes to the other room to get the key to the door, but Dr. Hill closes the door right behind her. Looking through his folder that had been left on the table, Dr. Hill tells Clover that she has been a very interesting patient since she suffers from very severe depression, extreme anxiety. He tells her that every monster she saw in that valley has been a creation of her own fears. While he's talking, he corners Clover in a corner, giving her a chance to put his coffee cup under a pipe that was dripping water. She puts it back in place for him to drink. While all this is happening, Abe, Nina, and Max are being hunted by a bunch of Wendigos, and Megan is terrified because the creature in front of her is almost managing to break free. After drinking the coffee, a few seconds later, Dr. Hill starts feeling sick. Realizing what had just happened, he tries to attack Clover, but she pushes him away and he explodes. Clover manages to get the key and save Megan just in time before the Wendigo breaks free. The two manage to run away and immediately lock the door behind them. This is far from over because other creatures are now chasing them. With time almost running out, the two find an exit and run towards it. Max and the rest of the group manage to find them just in time and pull them out of the hole. When time runs out, but this time it doesn't go back to the beginning and the sky seems to be normal again. The storm that never stopped finally ended. Abe is already inside the car, asking the group to get in quickly so they can get out of there immediately. And so the movie ends. What rating would you give this movie? If you liked the movie in this time loop style, I'll leave in the first pinned comment the summary of a very good movie that you'll like. So that's it. Until the next recap.